Okay, this is a departure from our more popular videos. This is not a glitch. This is just maybe a bit of a tutorial and discussion about the merits of different characters. So today we're going to talk specifically about Arkham Origins Batman and using him in multiplayer.
And also about the Arkham team. So Arkham Origins Batman is part of the team you see now on both sides of the screen, which you can get in the Arkham pack, which is a pack you get turning your Wi-Fi off that we think is going to be put more into the game.
Yeah, and that's for Android. The other thing is we get a lot of iOS specific questions. What I'm going to do this time is in the comment section I'm going to just start a comment where if you've got iOS stuff, ask in there just because it's more likely that you'll get an answer from somebody else. We don't have iOS, so we're getting a little bit tired. I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing, yeah, we don't have iOS so we can't test stuff. So this way, if you have any questions, put it there, but if you have any expertise, maybe take a look there too and try to help somebody out. Help a brother out.
So I think this is a cool kind of lucky coincidence that we're versing a team exactly the same as ours. Okay,
so Arkham Origins Batman, I think, can serve a couple purposes. When you talk about setting up a multiplayer team, you want to have, somebody was asking about this, you want to have a tank. And a tank in general, when you play games, is somebody that can take a lot of damage. Arkham Origins Batman sort of fits the bill. He's on the high end for health. He's not the highest. I think Shazam is with 80,000. But with the boost from Arkham Harley, whose original passive was the 25% health boost, but now what we're showing is the unblockable on special attack. That's her buff. That was one of the things that they improved when they changed her with the recent update.
Which means that for a multi-hit attack, like Arkham Origins Batman Second's attack, you're almost definitely going to have at least one of the hits break the block.
Alright, so, and specifically in Justice, when we talk about a tank, in my mind, a tank is somebody who can basically survive a Special 2, unblocked, the basic, without any enhancement. So, to me, the sort of prototypical danger is the Arkham Origins Batman starting with 2, unleashing Winged Avenger, and you don't block. A tank should be able to survive that. And with just his base health he can, but with the 25% boost from Arkham Harley he definitely can, so he can work as a boost. Now, he's also got a decent attack. He's one of the higher ones, but he's not the best. So how we like to play him is as a Special 2 specialist.
Just because he's so good.
So you'll see his specific gear. Out of all the 4-star gears that boost Special 2, my personal preference is the Trident Poseidon. Two principles. The character-specific effect, you can only really have one gear that's character-specific. 2 other slots, you have to fill it with something that's not.
You could have 2 if you use the Batmobile on Batman, but the Batmobile isn't that good, and it's definitely not useful for what we're using it for.
And we can talk about that maybe in another video. But out of all the 4-star gears, so the evolved 4-star gears that give you a Special 2 damage boost, this is the only one that has a Special 2 effect also. The other ones will have maybe a Special 1, a chance of disabling the specials and stuff, but not a Special 2 benefit. So the beauty of this is, if you unleash your Special 2 and you don't knock the guy out, you still have 25% chance to stun, so they're not doing anything, and you get a chance to still knock them out after. Let's say they're blocking, you get a 25% sort of mulligan.
And not only that, but there's a good chance that it's unblockable anyways.
One thing to note, that 18% boost that you see is 18% off the minimum damage. It's not 18% of whatever you end up being after you finish tapping. It's only 18% off the minimum damage. So even if you put 3 of them that are 18%, you're really only getting 54% boost of 31,580. So you look at half of that, that's like 16,000. You're getting a 16,000 boost. You're looking at a maximum of about 80,000. Okay, and that's important in terms of the other gear that we're picking for Arkham Origins Batman. So his Batman specific gear, the max health increase, that's useful. He's our tank, why not? The disable enemy specials, we don't really care about that because if we're doing this right, we're not using Special 1 at all.
Yeah.
The key is that you get 50% more damage on critical attacks. So, I think Arkham Origins Deathstroke is the only guy who has critical possibility without having gear. Right, that's part of his passive on Special 1. There's a chance that if you hit 200%, it will be critical.
Unblockable. Critical. And that does massive amounts of damage.
Right. So, our other gear is Demon Blade. Now, there's a bit of a bias against evolved 3-star gears. Everybody focuses on the evolved 4-star gears and higher.
Just because they have the extra character-specific ability.
And I think that's a waste. I think, even if the numbers are a little bit better, this is actually probably, if you're going to have somebody who you plan on using the Special 2 a lot, this is probably the best gear to have. The Demon Blade gives you a 50% boost on Special 2, which is only 3% less. And remember, it's 3% of the minimum damage, so 3% of the 30,000 is what? 900?
Which is like one swipe attack at our level.
Right. But it gives you a 30% critical chance. That you combine with his 50% extra damage, and you've got a beast. So instead of being limited to, if you tap maximally, you can get 80,000 if you use all 3 4-star gears to boost Special 2. This, you have a chance at hitting over 100,000 if it's unblocked. And that's useful too, because in multiplayer you're going to see guys with health boosts, and there's a chance they're going to block, so you want to make sure you do maximum damage. So getting significantly higher is definitely worth the trouble.
And even after all that, Harley's ability means that there's a chance of unblocking regardless of what they do.
Right, because his Winged Avenger, so this is the secondary reason why he's so good on the Arkham team. Because Winged Avenger is a multi-hit Special 2, and because the Arkham Origins Deathstroke Special 2 is also multi-hit, the chance of all of them being blocked, even if they do block, is small. Chance of it getting unblocked hits is really high, and you're very likely with both of them to wipe them out in the first shot of your Special 2. Alright, so without further ado, let's have a go. So typically on the epic battles, you get matched with a team very similar or exactly like your own.
And then if possible, they move up power throughout the stages.
Right. So let's have a look here. So in an offensive game, when you're fighting, defensive when you leave your team in and you're getting attacked. Offensive game is when you're fighting, it's good to have Arkham Origins Batman in your first slot because you might as well just get your special 2 off.
And I don't know if you found this, but it almost seems like you're less likely to block if you do it as soon as you come in.
It seems pretty random if I can get it
right.
right.
We're doing so much damage with this. You have basic attack booster gear on this, right? On
I do.
Arkham Deathstroke, right?
Yeah, we can talk about him on another one because he's basically our damage booster.
You just have the high level attack gear that does basic attack extra damage and basic attack crit damage, right?
Yeah, what I'm looking to do is heal him because I made a bit of a mistake, a bit sloppy with Deathstroke, let him take too much damage.
I think after you show a couple fights, you should probably go through the other character's gear too.
That's not a bad idea.
Maybe after this fight.
Not a bad idea. So you notice too, if they built up this special and you just sit there and block, you can make them basically use it.
Yeah, the AI is not great that way.
So that was a mistake. Harley Quinn is our backup. So Harley Quinn is really meant to pull us out of a pickle if I've screwed up. So you notice her gear score is not that high, and she can be really effective even without that. I mean, really, if just her passive would be enough, but we've got her character-specific gear, and the part that we really care about is they heal the team 25% of Special 2. It heals her team her 25% of health, not the rest of the team.
But that's still really helpful.
Right. And notice the other are evolved 2-star gears.
So they started out at 1-star.
So, really, I don't even care about the secondary one. I stuck this in there for a little bit of power generation boost. If you want to use anything else, you could. It would just make her more effective. But part of what I'm trying to illustrate is that there are still lots of useful non-4-star gears. Gears below 4 stars are much cheaper to evolve, and they give you a nice. It's better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. They give you a nice boost.
Yeah. I think for starting out, these make so much more sense than anything else.
And this is to balance it out because her special is healing the rest of the team. It's not healing herself. So what I'm looking to do is heal everybody at once.
And if you use the one of hers that heals her, you can get double heal to yourself.
Now this is a good illustration of point. Her heal, even though I like to have her as a support, she's not that useful when you've got Killer Frost on the opposite team because Killer Frost, her passive, will decrease the amount of healing by 90%. You only heal 10% of what you're supposed to.
Which sucks.
Yes, so we've got to be a little bit more careful. And her attack, once she freezes you, you're slower, you gain power slower, so then we're needing to swap out. That's one of the reasons why it's good to have 2 guys that are highly offensive. So even though Batman is a tank,
highly offensive.
Highly effective offensively. And I guess they could be offensive too. That's sort of a bonus. But because Batman is our tank, because there's Killer Frost can be used, you want to have 2 people that have the potential to do a lot of damage, and Batman is our secondary offensive player, even though he's also our tank.
I would say that Arkham Origins Batman's beard is a little offensive.
Only to those with alopecia. Only with those who are missing hair. Those follicularly challenged. Alright.
Oh no, it's still kind of ugly. It's just gaudy. And I played the game, and I don't think he has a beard that looks that scraggly in the game.
Alright, that was a mistake. Because I didn't knock him out and he wasn't stunned, I actually took some damage on Deathstroke, which was not ideal, especially with Killer Frost.
Shoot her in the face.
Especially with Killer Frost is impairing our ability to do anything. Alright, she's gonna do freezing. Oh, but I have my special too, so even though I'm frozen, I will still knock her out. Not ideal. In an ideal world, I should be using Deathstroke for finishing off 2 guys, and Batman should have finished off 1 instead of partially damaged 1.
Do you know what I would think would be kind of cool? If they had Arkham Origins Deathstroke, the way he was within the game as you beat him, his armor would actually come off, so he lost his helmet after a certain point. It would have been interesting if they could have incorporated that somehow, if he was his helmetless version, if he had some battle damage, or even if he just lost it at some point in the fight.
And we know now that the biggest basis in the comic book, at least, of his ability, saying that he uses 90% of his brain instead of the whatever 10%. That's a myth now, right?
Well, I think it was always a myth. We know that that's a myth now. And it's been known for a while. I don't know if it was known when the comic book was out, but I don't think that it's been hidden or that people haven't known about it. I think
it's interesting though, because it's one of those myths that show up a lot in stories, in movies, in books, in comics.
Same with seeing the Great Wall of China from space and all that stuff.
Right, so he's blocked. Ooh, look, and he was not able to keep it.
Ooh.
So Deathstroke is not a bad one for juggling, considering he's got 3 moves. When you notice that when he gets a
hit, he almost
a critical, it's 7,500, right?
And he almost always does crit. More often than not. I think out of that entire sequence, he did 1 non-crit move or something like that.
Right, and that's a function of the gear that we've stuck on too. Alright, so look, 17 seconds. Not bad. So it's a team that can be pretty effective. Now, that's not as fast as the fastest we've ever done with Shazam, Arkham Origins Batman, and Animated Harley Quinn, but that's pretty darn good. 17 seconds is not bad at all. So, the last person we want to take a look at more closely is our offense guy. So what you want to do with offense is, okay, so clearly Arkham Origins Batman, he's got pretty good attack, but we've tricked him out to be a special 2 specialist, so you need to generate power. If they happen to have somebody who sucks up power, like Nightwing, Lex Luthor, or they're using their Ra's al Ghul dagger effectively, or you've got Martian Manhunter with his passive doing a power drain. You want to have a guy who's going to do a lot of damage no matter what.
Whether he has all his power or not.
So we've loaded him up with damage boosters. So 70% damage boost basic attacks, crit chance.
45%.
And here's the key. This is, as far as the basic attack boosting gear, this is probably the best one, and it's specific to Deathstroke because they're all synergistic. If you look at a lot of the high-level gears, they don't always have...
One or two of them relate, and then one of them is kind of just out there.
Yeah. This all relates to improving his basic attacks, but it also improves the crit chance you get on number 1, but we're probably not planning on using number 1 on him. With him. You've got Nether Encounter, which is basically the same thing without the character's specific effect. So damage boost plus crit chance. And Ra's al Ghul's Dagger, which I'm basically using for the extra starting bar of power, plus, you know, the 50% damage boost is not bad. Not needed, but it's not bad. So that way we build up to their second faster, and then when he does a second, it's unblocked. Or it's unblockable. There's a chance that it's unblockable, I should say.
And also, in a pinch, we can always use it as an energy drain, using the tap combo.
Right. So let's say, for example, in that first example, if Arkham Origins Batman had not knocked the guy out but had stunned him, and it's Arkham Origins Batman on the other team, he's stunned. We get close, we drain him. And then he's not going to throw a Winged Avenger at us.
And then he'll probably throw, if we just hit him with that in a block, he'll throw its first special at us. And we'll have neutralized most of the danger of him.
Right. Listen, it's a small chance, but there's also a good likelihood that we're knocking whoever is in their first slot out anyways.
And it's awesome when they put him in the first slot, because you really have to watch out for him when he's in the second slot, because they'll switch in, and sometimes they'll use specials fast. You'll be in the middle of a combo, and you won't be able to block. So when you put him in first, especially against this team or any team that uses Arkham Origins Batman, you can knock him out before he has a chance to do any of his ability, and you don't have to be quite as careful waiting for him to get switched in for potentially hitting you and knocking you out if you've done it wrong.
Yeah, so on offense, Arkham Origins Batman is really good to have first. On defense, he's much better to have second. For exactly that reason. I know that when I'm fighting him, I really would prefer him to be in the first slot because he's easier to manage then. You just block, even if you don't have a plan, you just block, and he'll just do a special one.
And every once in a while he'll do a special one.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to take that chance, do whatever move your character has that will finish with a throw or a distance where you're separated, because if that happens, then you will, if you block and he's a good distance away, he will do his special one instead of a special two. He'll do a special one twice.
And we also do that a lot with Doomsday, because with Doomsday, he doesn't have any long-range specials, so he'll just miss you entirely if you do it right.
So this is a perfect example. Godfall Superman is an excellent tank. And I think I'd like to demonstrate him in the next video if we get a chance to. Because he's probably, in my mind, the epitome of a tank. He's got a good amount of health. He's got a beautiful passive that allows him to take less damage, right? Reflecting blocked damage. But we'll get to him when we do. Well, less talking about Superman and more about our Arkham team.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he is a great tank, and if you stick him with Static's blocking gear, he gets even better.
As we're realizing that people are continuing to watch this, we think we might try to make kind of an effort to have more of a regular schedule of something around one video a week, because we've seen from various places that it's a good idea keeping your subscribers interested in checking back, but also not flooding them with too much stuff. So as long as you guys keep watching the content, we'll see what we can do along the lines
I'm
of
not blocking right, and he's got Ra's al Ghul's dagger.
Keeping semi-regular videos coming your way.
Alright. Hard to tell if he's got a full bar. He's got a bar now. Let's block that. Alright, there you go. Oh, maybe not.